What the fuck is EBITDA? When Logan Roy hurled those words across the Waystar Royco boardroom, he wasn't asking a question. He was stripping away every corporate euphemism in the room. This week on MoviSvami, 7 movies, 7 moments where the numbers told a story that words tried to hide. From trading floors to treasury meetings, this is The Numbers Never Lie.
"2 a.m., an empty trading floor. Peter Sullivan stares at a spreadsheet that just turned red. In Margin Call, this moment is where a 27-year-old physicist uncovers the flaw that would collapse a 100-year-old institution. The lesson isn't about risk models, it's about who gets listened to when the numbers scream. Most companies build escalation protocols. Very few build the psychological safety for a junior analyst to use them. Your biggest existential risk isn't hiding in the market, it's hiding in the spreadsheet of someone too afraid to raise their hand.
The most valuable commodity I know of is information. Gordon Gekko said it in 1987. He meant insider tips and wiretapped whispers. But strip away the moral decay, and Gekko was describing something that today's best CFOs understand instinctively. Information asymmetry wins. Not through deception, through infrastructure. While your competitor waits for month-end close, you're watching revenue shift in real time. The question Gekko should have asked, not how do I get information others don't have, but how do I build systems that process it faster than anyone else?
It's about getting things down to one number. When Peter Brand walked into the Oakland A's clubhouse with a spreadsheet and an idea, he wasn't just changing baseball, he was proving that value hides where convention refuses to look. Moneyball is not a sports movie, it's a masterclass in contrarian analytics. Every industry has its version of the scout who trusts his gut over the data, and every industry has underpriced assets waiting for someone brave enough to measure differently. The CFO who builds proprietary metrics, not borrowed ones, builds a moat no competitor can see over.
Numbers are clear, they're honest, they're reliable. Christian Wolff says this from a world of chaos, assassins outside, discrepancies inside. But in The Accountant, that faith in numbers isn't naivete, it's discipline. In boardrooms filled with narrative spin and optimistic projections, the financial leader who anchors every decision in verified data isn't being cautious, they're being lethal. Capital allocation without accounting integrity is just expensive guessing. The numbers never lobby, they never politic, they just tell you what's true, if you have the nerve to listen.
These companies don't exist, none of them. They're all just shells. Seth Davis's moment of reckoning in Boiler Room is the dark mirror of everything we've been discussing. When the numbers lie, when the balance sheet is fiction dressed in a suit, the entire architecture of trust collapses. Every financial scandal in history shares one common ancestor. Someone decided that perception could permanently substitute for reality. It can't. The CFO's ultimate mandate isn't to present numbers, it's to guarantee that every digit represents something tangible, verifiable, and real.
I need to know what's on their books right now. When Henry Paulson slammed his fist on that table in September 2008, Lehman Brothers had already fallen. Merrill Lynch was being sold. The global economy stood on a ledge. Too big to fail shows us what happens when opacity becomes systemic, when toxic assets hide in complexity until the complexity itself becomes the weapon. Paulson's demand wasn't bureaucratic, it was existential. Can you access your real-time exposure data in minutes? Not days, not quarters, minutes. Because in crisis, the speed of transparency determines whether you survive or become a cautionary tale.
So, what the fuck is EBITDA? It's the metric that strips away every accounting trick, every tax shelter, every depreciation debate, and shows you what a business actually earns. Logan Roy knew this instinctively. Great leaders don't hide behind complexity, they demand clarity. 7 movies, 1 lesson.
The numbers never lie. The only question is whether you have the courage to read them honestly. This has been MoviSvami. See you next week. MoviSvami, where cinema meets leadership.